welcome back to the channel, guys. We're going to be checking out a video today. This one is on what it's like being Asian Russian in 2025 and why you've never heard about us. I got confused about Russia, Asia, Europe, and the mixture, how Russia came into the picture, being Asian or being European. So I got to discover that actually Russia is partly Europe and partly Asian. Okay, so I just came across this video that's where this lady here speaks about being Asian Russian. So I just felt like, well, guess this will clarify something. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments. Let's get into it. Let's check it out.
Hello. So I'm that Asian Russian who made a video about Asian Russians don't exist, and it gained over 10 million views across platforms, and the comment section went absolutely wild. So all of this proves that you all have no idea about that we exist. We're not Chinese. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly who Asian Russians are, why you've never seen us, so by the end of this video, you will understand the part of Russia that nobody talks about. And let's start from why I even made this video. It's basically because I've traveled to over 20 plus countries. I've lived in different countries, and every time someone asks me, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Russia." Nobody believes me. And it's not even the worst part. Like in immigration in Taiwan, officer didn't want to give me my residency card because he thought there is a mistake. Because how can I be Russian?
Guys, the funniest part is she doesn't even look it one bit. She totally looks Chinese, honestly. She looks Asian. Okay.
How can I have a nationality said Russian? So you realize how big of a problem is that. And it makes sense why the video went so viral, because most people, especially outside of Russia, have no idea that Asian Russians exist. Because when people think of Russian, they immediately imagine blonde hair, blue eyes, with vodka, dancing on bears, playing balalaika, Russian person. And that's it. But why they never had a thought in their head that Russia is huge? Like, Russia stretches across 2 continents, has over 190 ethnic groups, and guess what? That's not just Slavic people. So, makes sense that when people see me, Asian face, Russian passport, their brain is glitched. So, who are Asian Russians? Asian Russians are indigenous people of Siberia and the Far East. So we're not immigrants, we're not mixed, and our ancestors.
I kind of love the fact that she's really proud of who she is, and yeah, she's out here to kind of make a meaning out of who she really is. This is amazing.
Lived on this land for thousands of years, long before Russia expanded east. Me personally, I'm Buryat or Buryat Mongolian, but that doesn't mean I'm from Mongolia. I'm actually from the Republic of Buryatia. Buryats are an indigenous people inside Russia, and we have our own region called Republic of Russia. And guess what? It's the size of almost Germany. Imagine how big of a republic we have, just people in there, and you never heard about them, even though it's the size of Germany. See, there's an issue. So, we're from the area around Lake Baikal. It's the deepest lake in the world in Siberia, and you probably also never knew about this. But let me explain how it even works that you never heard about that. Why you thought Russia is just gigantic one Russian land? Russia is actually made up of different administrative regions, and some of them are called republics. A republic is basically a federal region. We have our own local government, own local constitution, and an officially recognized native ethnic group. And Buryatia, where I'm from, is one of those republics. So Buryats are the native people there. But before you start commenting, I'll tell you immediately that Asian Russians are not all the same. So there are 3 main language families. Mongolic people like Buryats, Kalmyks, Turkic people, Tiva, Sakha, which is Yakut, Tatars, Bashkirs, and more. And Tungusic people, Evenki, Evan, and Nanai. And guess what? We all look Asian, but we all have our own languages, cultures, and traditions. And we are all Russian citizens. We all have Russian passport. I have a lot of questions asking me, how was it to grow up as an Asian Russian inside Russia? Well, easy to answer, because growing up, I always knew I'm Buryat. But I also knew that I'm Russian, because that's my citizenship. This is where I was born, where I grew up. Russian also is the main language everywhere in Russia. And that's why people outside of Russia get confused. Why can I call myself Russian? It's because in Russian we actually have 2 different words for Russian. Русский, it's Slavic Russian and ethnicity, right? And Россиянин, it's for any Russian citizen, any ethnicity. But in English, both become just Russian. People assume that everyone from Russia must look Slavic just because of the word. That's where the confusion comes from. But here's the wildest part. Even though you know that Russia has so many ethnic groups, most people outside Russia and even many inside Russia have no idea that we exist. Because why? Media mostly shows Moscow, St. Petersburg, and it's all Slavic faces. Like, bro, are we for real? Not only the Western media, but also Russian media. So now we can answer the first questions. Do you speak Russian or Mongolian? Bro, I'm not from Mongolia again. So, I'm from Russia, and when I say I'm Buryat Mongolian, that's my ethnicity. Yes, I also can call myself Buryat, but that part, the Mongolian, was actually erased from our name in different periods of history. It's a very long story, but that just proves, again, we are part of the Mongolic world. But I speak Russian fluently, I speak English fluently, I speak some Chinese pretty good, and understand some Buryat, because that's my native language. This is my parents speak to each other in Buryat language. I'm also learning Mongolian at the same time at the moment because it's just more useful at the moment. Something important to mention about the languages is that most
Okay, it's crazy how you're able to speak Russian, speak English, to speak every other language except your native language. All right, this is amazing. Just shows how Russian like you really are.
Buryats my age don't really speak Buryat fluently. And that's not because we don't want to, well, not all of them, of course, because of how the system was set up. In Soviet Union, in Soviet period, we had traditional Mongolian script that was later replaced with to Latin, and then it was replaced or switched to Cyrillic. And Russian in general just became the main language. So today, Russian is what we all grow up using every day. And just an example for you, well, we also studied Buryat language at school and English. But guess what? I learned more English than Buryat at school. So it kind of gives you a tip about what kind of classes did we have, how serious was that. Like, Buryat language was a joke at classes, okay? It was like a class at school where everyone just going to do nothing and just chill. Meanwhile, the English classes were like super serious. You can't fail in English class, but you can fail Buryat class because nobody gave a fuck at school. Another question is, why do you look so different from other Russians? I hope my video will kind of explain you why, but explain again, I'm not ethnically Slavic. I'm Mongolic. My ancestors are from the steppe, not the Eastern Europe. They're from part of the Mongolia, okay, that side of world. And Russia expanded east in the 16th. And guess what? We were already there. We didn't move to Russia. Russia moved to us, or came to us. Why do I even talk about this? Because my whole life, people didn't believe me I'm Russian. Bro, like, there was so many situations where people ask me million times, you're lying, you're not from Russia, you're Chinese, you immigrated Chinese. Used to be fun, but it just became very annoying and just angry because, bro, why do you trying to prove me that I'm not from where I am? Like, another story is I went to a job interview that was said looking for Russian waitresses. I got an email to my school email that their yacht club in Taiwan is looking for Russian waitresses. Well, we arrived, Russian girls, but it was girls from Republic of Buryatia, so everyone looks like me. Guess what? The people who was working there, right, the managers doing the job interview, they were just staring at us like, are you sure you're Russian girls? Because we expected to see blue eyes and blonde Russian girls. So turn around, beluga, go home. They would say that, but they couldn't say that. They were just shocked. Anyways, I still got the job. That later, because I became friends with these people who also working there, they told me that the whole reason why they wanted to get Russian waitresses is because the owner wanted to have an exotic atmosphere by employing Russian girls, Russian students from university, the best university in that city. And another question is, why the university were sending emails to their students, Russian girl students? So guys, I hope now you learned that Russia is bigger than you thought. Just guys, again, my republic is the size of Germany. Like, You get that, and you never heard about Buddhist people, but you definitely heard about Germans, and we need to change that, right? Imagine you're gonna meet someone from Russia looking like me, and you'll be like, girl, I know you're Buddhist. He's gonna get so impressed, like, or a guy, doesn't matter. If you want to learn more about our traditions right now, because I have a whole Instagram and TikTok about more traditions, history, culture stuff that I've been doing for a year. You guys also can follow my YouTube for long format videos, because a lot of vlogs are coming. I spent like 2 months in Mongolia this summer. Crazy things happened there. Crazy many events. I traveled 10 days around countryside of Mongolia. That was the best time, I think, of the summer. Get ready for that. Also have vlogs from Moscow, from Siberia, from Republic of Buryatia, from Dagestan. So I have like a lot of vlogs are coming, like 2 terabytes. So you can follow me for future videos. Don't forget, please, to like this video, repost, share, leave the comment. Again, good job that you found this channel. Good job that you looking for more information instead of watching brain rot. So you at the correct spot. So yeah, thank you guys. Perla, Berte.
Wow, that's really huge. That was deep. As much as she tried to capture the massiveness of this information in just a couple of minutes, it still didn't take the fact that this was really deep and huge. Like most of the information she spilled out is something I have never really heard and never really come across. Okay, I only knew on the surface that we have Russia has stretched to some Asian part to the part of Asian, and Russia is partly Europe and partly Asian. All right. I don't know what percentage of Russia stretched into Asia and what percentage is left in Europe. Okay, but I just know it's kind of what should I say, like consists of two different continent, right? Okay, yeah, I think two different continents sharing um one what will I call it? Country, right? So I didn't know there were actually Asian Russians. Okay, this is really amazing, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this video down in the comment. And if you found it really interesting, do well to like, share, subscribe so you don't miss out on more of my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.